Welcome to Win the Day. I'm Dan Koch, filling in for Pastor Nat. And today we're going to talk about faithfulness and accountability. They are friends. Galatians chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Then after 14 years, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, taking Titus along with me. I went up because of a revelation and set before them, though privately before those who seemed influential, the gospel that I proclaim among the Gentiles, in order to make sure I was not running or had not run in vain. Recently, I had a conversation with one of my young children. I noticed that this kid liked to tiptoe around the house and sneak into rooms he shouldn't be in. So I told this kid about Proverbs 28:1, which says, "The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." We talked about how the lion in the jungle rarely walks around fearful. And I told him how when we are accustomed to doing things the right way, our conscience is clear and we can be bold. But when we think we might be doing something wrong, we fear the light. Paul has a clear conscience, and he has no fear of the light. To him, faithfulness and accountability are friends. Preaching Christ and Christ alone to the Gentiles, Paul understood that this was causing some frustration among other Jews. Paul had experienced the persecution and pain from many Jews simply because he preached that Christ was the end of the law for righteousness and that the Gentiles did not need circumcision to be accepted by God. He already knew this to be true, but he's also aware of the deceitfulness of his own heart, and so he wants others, known leaders, to hear his gospel and to be aware of what he was preaching. You know, a lot of cults began because an individual refused to do what Paul did. Faithfulness thrives on accountability. It does not view accountability as an enemy. It wants to be in the light, to stay in the light. Paul wants to be faithful to Christ. Because Paul wants to be faithful to Christ, he pursues accountability. And he pursues the right kind of accountability. Paul doesn't take the easy route or pick people who he think will agree with him or say nice things to him. He goes with a clear conscience and says, "Here is what I'm preaching. Tell me if I'm in error." A lot of zealous young Christians refuse to even be coached in their ministry. They know it all. They have a revelation from God. And they do the opposite of what Paul did, which was to pursue accountability. Lastly, Paul clues us in on the value of the right kind of accountability. By God's grace, it helps us to have assurance in the work we're doing. Paul said, "Unless I had run in vain." He wanted to be faithful. He needed other brothers and sisters to evaluate his message and to take it in from their perspective. The answers he heard, it assured him in Christ and strengthened his resolve to keep going. We all need accountability. We need the right kind of accountability. It's a friend to faithfulness, and it will strengthen resolve. Fools run from accountability, and the wicked hide from it. Don't be either. Paul needed accountability, and so do we.